If you've just gotten a long-term disability denial for fibromyalgia, I get it. It's completely overwhelming. That thick envelope sitting on your counter can feel, well, final. But today, we're going to flip that feeling on its head. We're going to turn that overwhelm into a clear, step-by-step plan. Let's get into it.
This, right here, this says it all, doesn't it? Because you're not just dealing with some paperwork, you're juggling your actual life, your health, your bills, your job, everything all at once. I just want you to know you're not alone in this, and there is absolutely a path forward.
Under most ERISA plans, this number is your new reality. 180 days. That's the deadline you have from the day you got that letter to file your appeal. And yeah, it might sound like a long time, but we all know how fast 6 months can fly by, especially when you're dealing with flare-ups and doctor's appointments. So that clock, it is officially ticking.
Okay, this is probably the most important shift in thinking we're going to talk about. I want you to stop thinking of this as some scary, unpredictable legal war. Forget that. Instead, we're going to treat this like a project with clear phases, deadlines, and totally manageable tasks. This little shift, it puts you right back in the driver's seat.
All right, first things first, the most critical part of our entire project is changing the way we talk about your condition. We've got to move away from just describing your symptoms and start defining your functional limits. It's a huge difference.
Here's the thing you have to understand. Insurance companies, they live and breathe data. So vague statements like, my pain is bad, or I have fibrofog, they just bounce right off. They're easy to dismiss. But specific, measurable limits like, I can only sit for 20 minutes before the pain becomes distracting, or I'm likely to miss 5 days of work a month, that's vocational math. That's a language they understand and can't just ignore. We're translating your reality into their language. So how do we tackle this 180-day monster? We don't. We're not running a marathon here. Instead, we're going to break it down into 5 manageable sprints. Think of them as short, focused bursts of effort with clear finish lines.
So here's what that looks like broken down. The first week is just about requesting your files. That's it. Then, for the next few weeks, you're in collection mode, gathering up your records. After that, you work on getting your doctor's support and knocking down every single reason they gave for the denial. Then you draft, and finally, you submit. See? Each sprint has a clear goal. This is how we avoid that last-minute, night before it's due panic.
Now we're getting into the real meat of the project. And you have to remember this one critical, non-negotiable rule. If a piece of evidence isn't in your appeal file by that 180-day deadline, a judge might never be allowed to see it if you end up in court. This is your one shot to build the record. So we put everything in right now.
So, your very first action item involves getting 2 different sets of documents from 2 different places. First, you send a written request to the insurance company for your entire claim file. You want to see every single piece of paper they looked at. Second, you send a separate request to your plan administrator, which is usually your HR department, for the official plan documents. This gives you the rule book they're supposed to be playing by.
And listen, when you talk to your doctor, you can't just say, hey, can you write me a letter saying I'm disabled? That's not going to cut it. You need to go in with a checklist. It's often called a residual functional capacity form, or an RFC. You need to ask for specifics. How many minutes can you sit? How often do you need to lie down? How many days a month will you realistically miss work? These numbers, these are your power tools.
And this is where the magic happens. This is how you connect all those dots for the insurance company in a way they literally cannot ignore. You create a simple chart, just like this one. In one column, you list what your job requires, and in the other, you put your doctor-documented limits. The gap between those 2 columns, that's your case. It becomes black and white.
Okay, let's talk about the traps. Insurance companies tend to use the same playbook over and over again to deny claims. The good news is, if we know their plays ahead of time, we can build our defense right into the appeal from the get-go.
This is a big one, the one that keeps people up at night. The idea that some private investigator is hiding in the bushes, or they're going to find one picture of you smiling at a birthday party and say, see, they're fine. But there is a really powerful way to shut this down.
The answer? You fight their data with better data. You take their 20-minute video of you at a barbecue and you recontextualize it. You pair it with your symptom log from the next day that says, paid for it, slept 14 hours, pain level 8 out of 10, couldn't get out of bed. You show them that one brief moment of activity is not, and never will be, the same as the ability to work 40 hours a week.
All right, a few more quick-hit traps to watch out for. If you also have anxiety or depression, make it crystal clear that it's secondary to your physical pain. Many policies have a 24-month limit for mental health claims. Also, never, ever say, "I feel better." Instead, say, "My symptoms fluctuate." And if you have any gaps in your treatment, explain why. Document everything. Assume nothing.
All right, you've done all the heavy lifting. You've built this incredible, evidence-packed appeal. Now it's time for the final steps, submitting it, and then, well, managing the wait. And we're going to do this strategically too.
Now, when it's time to submit, please do not just drop this in a blue mailbox and hope for the best. You're going to create an ironclad trail of proof. Send it 3 ways. Certified mail, so you have a signature. Fax, so you have a transmission report. And upload it to their online portal, taking screenshots. Then, a couple of days later, you call to confirm they got it all. Overkill? Maybe. But they will never be able to claim they didn't get it on time. The second you hit send, their clock starts. By law, they usually have 45 days to give you an answer. They can also take one 45-day extension. So the moment you submit, I want you to open your calendar and mark both of those dates. Knowing the timeline helps you take back control of the waiting game. It makes it feel less infinite.
Okay, I know we've gone over a ton of information, and it can still feel like you're staring at Mount Everest. So let's bring it all home. Let's talk about what you can do in the next 15 minutes, literally right after this, to get the ball rolling and build some momentum.
So, right now, here's what you're going to do. 3 simple things. First, grab that denial letter and a pen and write the date you received it right on the top. Done. Second, draft and send those 2 request letters we talked about, one to the insurer, one to your employer. Third, open your phone or calendar and block out 2 45-minute chunks of time for this week. That's it. In 15 minutes, you've just gone from feeling stuck to being in motion.
Look, this entire thing is about taking back the power, one small, deliberate step at a time. That 100-day clock is running, yes, but now it's working for you, because now you have a plan. So the only question left is, how are you going to use your day 1? You've got this.